Hi EFR 513 students. This is the video for exercise 5 and frequencies and removing missing data. So number 1 says EX04 number 1 for large data frame, and that's our HSLS09. Uh, you read into R, create a table with the frequencies of possible responses for the following variables. So here are two variables from the codebook and from the data set, and we're just going to make frequency tables of those variables. So in my R studio, the first thing I should do is I need to open the HSLS09, and it's a CSV file, and for me it's right here. So I'm just going to go to my files, and I'm going to go to where that file is located, and once I do that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on more, and I'm going to say set to working directory. And when I do that, I'm going to get a code statement down here. It's going to run this, that it's going to set it to the directory. Now I can have just a piece of code in my console up here, and it says set right into that directory, and then I'm going to say read table. So HSLS read that table right here, and then I can ask for attributes, and so if I run all this code, it's going to read the file in, and it'll tell me the attributes. So I get the file names, and I get some of the data in there. And the assignment says, looking at the assignment here, it says look at the codebook for the variables and create tables for these two variables. So if I grab those two variables, I'm going to just say table, and for those two variables, so I'll go ahead and run that, and then I get the tables out for that. So those are just the frequencies of in that file. So if I look here, I end up with -9, -8, -7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So these minus signs, we have to learn how to deal with those when we're working with large data sets. The federal databases often have these, and we'll have to eliminate those when we do our analysis. For example, if we wanted the mean of this variable, we can't just calculate the mean with those included, because that'll give us an incorrect value. So we see here, we just table and the variable name, and it's HSLS $, and the variable name, because I'm just pulling from those files. It says, okay, so now number 2 says now create a new data file with the variables. So to do that, it's right here, HS, and what I'm calling it new. So I'm calling it a data frame. So I'm going to call it HSLS underscore new, and then I'm going to call it a data frame, and then I'm going to include those two variables with commas in between. So this is kind of important when we're working with large data sets like we are. You can't really use, or you shouldn't be copying the entire file or working with the entire file for that matter. I'm going to identify the key variables that I need in the larger data frame, and then I'm going to make a sub data frame. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. This is just an example. So when you're doing a project for example, if you're doing a project in this data frame, you'd identify the key variables you need, and then you'd create a sub data frame, and that becomes what you want to work with. So to do that, again, here was the code for that. And when I run that, so I'm going to bring that code over, and I'll run that in my R. So I'll just paste it in up here, and I'm going to block and run it. And it did that, so it created the data frame. Here's the data frame. And notice here the minus values, right? Like right here, there's -8. And there's a -9 in this side. right? So again, we have to deal with those missing values, but that's what we need for number 2. So we just took our larger data frame and we made a subset. Very important for us. Okay, number 3. So now remove the negative values from grade and replace them with NA. So we're just going to take one of these values here, and so when I go to my code book, if I go in there and look in the code book, it's in Word, so I can use Control H and search for things in Word. And if I search for the variable, these are the possible options of that. And I see that when I run table. Again, I'm using the new variable now, right? Because that's the data set I want to work with. I don't want to work with a really large one. And $. And then, so I'm just asking for the table. And it gives me this here. And then what we're going to be doing is looking for the removing the NAs. So to do that, when I look at the NAs, so I give the full name, okay, and then I have the parentheses here, and then I give this NA, right? So inside the parentheses, I give the full name of the variable, and then I give a condition, and that could be equal to -9, but it's just easier because I just want to get rid of the negative values. And then I have the NA, so I'm going to replace those with NAs. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this code. I'll remove the unnecessary code. Bring it over. So here's my code. Now this was output, so I'm going to just delete this. And table. Okay, so when I'm looking at just a table, I pull that out, and here's my table down here. And notice it still has the -9, -7. So now I'm going to go ahead and run this again right here, this code. And notice it's the name of the file. And then it's in parentheses, name of the file again, the condition, and then that's going to receive an NA when the condition is true. So I'll go ahead and run that. And nothing comes out of that. But now if I'm going to look at that table again, that variable again, now the missing values. Now notice that it changed the variable name, right? It changed that data set. Now I'm really not going back. So now I have to be aware of it, that now my data in this sub file is no longer has the -9s in it. So that's a permanent change in this sub file. Okay, and there's my results. Okay, and then I can type the name, just the variable name right here, and then I can see in that file I ran it down below, but I can see that all the NAs in there, all the missing values, all the negative values are gone, and the NAs are in here. Okay, and that was all the assignment was. Okay, all right, thank you so much. Now, one moment, I guess. I'm going to come back to my R. Now, notice that this is complete file, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to go File and Save As, and I'm going to save this code in the location of the assignment. All right. So, and I can come up here as well and save the project. So, but also I'm saving it in the assignment itself, out of Word as well. Okay, that's it.